Hello and welcome to 2002 Dodge Ram 5.9 edition review test drive. Have a look at this truck I've got up for sale. Please ignore the hammering, but please hammer that like button and please consider subscribe if you like my content. 2002 brand new Dodge Ram. The twister truck is out. This new design is in quad cam. I really like these things. What an improvement on trucks. My old F-150, same year as this truck, but a very, very different truck. The quad cab, what a useful design. They got a 6 1/4 inch box. They basically took the quarter out and put it in the back seat. And man, does it make a difference. So much more room and so much nicer driving truck. This truck needed some body work. It's got 300,000 K on it, but mechanically it's just beautiful. But it had been used as sort of an exploration rig, sled dog rig, and it needed some body work. One problem, common problem with these Rams, these lower rockers, they're basically just a scoop. They don't do anything. They're just metal that comes down and makes a water pocket. And what happens in a water pocket fills with water and rusts out. This side's not bad. The other side, not good. I basically removed the whole thing. It doesn't do anything. And I didn't like it. So rust is gone. I also use my favorite friend, Mr. POR15, Professional Body Rust Converter. You basically paint it on. It seals and converts to rust so it's inert. You paint over it because it doesn't like UV, and rust is controlled. So the lower doors in this thing had a bit of that, but we got rid of that. This truck is so much nicer. I had one of the previous Dodge Rams for a little while, and it's a very different truck. Very, very trucky truck. Like the F-150, very trucky truck. This truck is more of an SUV. Drives really nice, rack and pinion steering, really nice brakes. Brakes feel like you're driving a car. Has that great look though, and silver is the Dodge Ram color. It always comes in this color. It's like both of them come in this color, but it's a great color. This one has a really nice cap on the back. It has huge windows, gigantic. People who had this previous to me, very nice people, not lacking in the maintenance department, just took care of this thing really nice, but they had their dogs in the back. And so they used their sled dogs, and so this thing was never really used for cargo, so the bed is like pretty much mint. There's nothing in here. There was a big pad in here for the dogs, and it's never really been used for cargo. There's no scrapes, there's no nothing, but it has these huge windows. Really nice for camping. Tailgates are a real problem. This is a water pocket. Basically, water come in the top, accumulate, rots the bottom out. The other tailgate that was on this thing, toast. So I got another one from the scrapyard, repainted it, because why not? Matchy matchy. Another water pocket. All these boxes in the back here. This is another place where water accumulates and rots out. I cut some new panels, put them in there, because this truck is good and it deserves body work. Rear fenders. A real problem here in Calgary is they put down coarse gravel on the road. Gravel hits up, nicks the paint, and then these things rotted out. Most Dodge Rams are totally rotted. This thing is pretty clean. It had some rust. It's all been treated and painted. It's not perfect, but came out pretty good. They rubbed up against some trees, so I painted it. It's not a perfect, it's actually a professional paint, really nice, but the clear coat needs a bit of wet sand. But other than that, pretty nice truck. Especially considering that it has actual rockers in it. I really like this thing. It is a very useful day-to-day machine. Let's check out the interior. This one has the fully loaded leather package. It also has the nice tow mirrors. You know, when you flip your tow mirror up, you're telling the world what a tough guy you are. But I like them down. Nice leather. This thing is so clean inside. They really took care of it. I really like this. I love these fold-up rear seats. It's nice having a door. The clamshell doors on my F-150 are not as easy to get into. This thing has these really nice, they flip up and you can fold out your cargo. It's these platforms come out for flat loading. Really nice. Really clean. I love this thing. This thing has a super crazy stereo in it. This was like the business back in the day. It's got a 24-bit digital to analog converter. There's an amplifier under the seat. All the speakers are powered from, you can see all the wiring here. All the speakers are replaced with high-end speakers. It had an infinity audio. Got rid of that. Crap. So we got the fancy audio and an auxiliary cable. It must have cost a fortune back in the day. But a really nice interior in this thing. I really like. I had the cloth interior one, which is nice, but the leather is really comfortable. Headliner's perfect in this thing. Let's check out the engine. So 2002 being the first year of this truck, they had a bit of a holdover engine there before they were getting the Hemi ready, which wasn't ready, and the Hemi had problems. We got the 5.9 liter Magnum. This thing was rated at 245 horsepower, 335 foot-pounds of torque. But it's different than back in the day. People used to insist on low RPM torque, low RPM horsepower. Trucks were supposed to have low RPM power. That's what people expected. So this motor, which dates back to the 60s, although it's much more modern now, it's very, very low RPM. So even though it doesn't have big peak horsepower like the Hemi did, the Hemi really has to rev out to get the power. This thing is very, very low RPM. It's also extremely smooth. For a pushrod V8, 5.9 liter, it's very smooth. It's got a really nice 4-speed automatic. It's very, very smooth. It's in quite good shape. Interestingly, this hood rod here, guess what? It's round too, and guess what? It holds water. That's right. It was ruined. So I got a new one. Nice. Supports the hood good. I like this thing. I also like how they split the rads on this. So it's got the giant trans cooler, giant steering cooler, giant radiator, and the condenser are all fit in nicely and split. Very smart design. Block heater, of course, got to have that here in Alberta. Let's take this thing for a spin. Dodge Ram 5.9. Dual seat heaters, got to have that. Low range, high range, two-wheel drive, all automatic. Multiple climate control zones, AC that works, giant stereo, and a limited slip diff. All the stuff you want. Let's take it for a spin. Nice information display up there, which I like. This whole truck is very nice. I also really like the center console. It has a really nice center console. All these cool dividers, and there's 12-volt outlets everywhere on this thing. This baby was made to work. Let's take it for a spin. And the people who own this were older kids that sort of left, so they didn't spare expense in servicing the truck, so it drives great. This thing drives like a car, an SUV. I don't know. It feels really small. Has a really easy brake feel. It is so different than my F-150. It is so much nicer to drive and smoother. And these things are a little, it's a 5,600 pound truck or so, and 245 horsepower, but it's such easy low RPM power that it just happily motors along. It's not super fast, but it's certainly not slow, and it's very, very smooth, and it just drives really nice. It's not that bad on gas even. On the highway, again, you're at real low RPM, where all the torque and horsepower is made. So it just loafs along, happy as a clam. So easy. The rack and pinion, what a difference. For circulating ball steering like I have in the F-150, it totally works, and it's fine, but it doesn't have the same feedback, and it doesn't have a quick a ratio as this thing. It actually handles pretty well, this truck, which again is amazing. All the Dodge Rams I've driven and the newer ones, they all handle well. My F-150 really handles like a truck. It doesn't really have much steering feel or feedback. This thing is actually kind of fun to drive, which is amazing. It's probably why they've sold so many of these. One advantage of the 5.9 over the Hemi is reliability. This was the last year that they sold the Magnum. They've been making this motor forever, so it's pretty dialed in by this point, reliability-wise. The Hemi had a bunch of teething problems, like the 06 I owned, where the valve seat fell out from a small overheat. They had, the later ones had the Hemi tick from the camshaft lifter failures, integrated power control failures. This thing, she's dialed. Reliability. Let's get on it. Whoa, I think I spun the wheel. Plenty of juice. Plenty of power to get you around. Just a really pleasant place to be in. Honestly, this is a lot nicer truck than my F-150, but I'm sort of fond of my F-150, so thus I must sell this truck. And it's amazing stereo. This is one of these really cool stereos where the faceplate flips out so you can put CDs in. It's like a total audiophile system. It has so many complex features and audio manipulations for its high-end speakers. It is really, really crisp. There's no subwoofers in this thing. No big boy. What this thing has is crisp, clear audio, which is really nice. And just a lovely truck to drive. I really wish I had this thing for road trips. I've had it for a while, and occasionally I drive it, but mostly I drive my F-150 because it's hard to justify two pickup trucks. So thus it must go, but I'd love to get another one of these someday because it's just such a nice truck to drive. It's very quiet inside, Man, they're really going for it when they came out with these Rams. Really an impressive thing. I think everybody was playing catch up. The Titan's supposed to be really good too, similar to this, but just a very nice vehicle to drive. You can fit everything in the world back in that giant box, and you can still fit, you know, full-size adults in the back here with their own doors, which is just genius. It was a genius development. They just really went nice with this truck. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Lots of Dodge Ram fans out there, including me, and see you in the next one.